Next in 10 Eyewitness News, that grand feeling as we count down to footy's big day. Another school shooting in the US and a rail worker hit by a train.
Tonight, we've got that grand final feeling as Melbourne turns it on for a perfect parade.
It's a special time to be still playing. This is why you play football.
It's the Premier versus the PM as the controversial public holiday turns into a heavyweight clash.
I don't know that he necessarily knows and understands Melbourne as well as others might, and I don't know that he's the greatest footy fan.
Also, mass murder in the United States as students are killed in yet another school shooting.
And terrified passengers flee as two women go toe-to-toe, laying into each other in a vicious train fight.
This is 10 Eyewitness News, first at 5, with Stephen Quartermain and Candice Wyatt.
Good evening, it's the eve of that one day in October and the eyes and hearts of the footy world are firmly focused on our city.
And Melbourne really turned it on for the grand final parade as thousands lined the sun-drenched streets to cheer their heroes.
The new route was embraced by the public as the Festival of Footy reaches its climax.
Yasmin Payton was there and joins us now. And Yasmin, a great day had by all.
Yes, it was another beautiful day, perfect for the grand final parade, which weaved its way through the city and ended up here at Yarra Park. The state government claims there were 150,000 people lining the streets to see their favourite players. That would be a record. And the Hawks and the Eagles were presented on stage here with the sparkling Premiership Cup they all have their eyes on. A simple love of football filled the streets of Melbourne, the heart and home of Aussie rules. The parade ended with the Premiership captains sharing their grip on the cup. That's tomorrow's battle. So with the parade over and out, we can now turn our minds to the first bounce. The MCG behind me here will start to get busy before dawn tomorrow. Kitchen staff and chefs will arrive at about 4:30, and a few hours later when the gates open, those who've been camping out since yesterday will make a charge for the best seats in the house. Candice?
OK, great. Thank you to Yasmin Payton.
Now to inside the MCG, where tomorrow a season of hope and hype will come to a conclusion. Rob Waters joins us. Rob, tonight could be a sleepless one for players and fans alike.
Yes, good evening, Stephen. They'll be nervous and excited, just like you. The difference between being the Premier and being the losing grand finalist is vast. There is absolutely so much at stake, as we know. The ground staff have been putting the finishing touches on an MCG that looks absolutely magnificent. It's a privilege to be in here tonight, trying to expose the Eagles' undersized defence, but the Eagles could get them on the run. So it's an intriguing part of how the matchups work tomorrow afternoon. It's been a season full of tragedy. We've had many controversies, but let's hope tomorrow we get a grand final, we get an epic that can put those memories to past, and the season can be remembered for a brilliant final series and a brilliant climax to 2015. Stephen?
Rob Waters at the MCG. Now let's see what the G looks like from above. Here's Jimmy Worthington in the chopper.
Thank you, Stephen. Hovering right above the MCG in the floorboards online traffic chopper. No better sight on grand final eve in Victoria. Looking beautiful down there at the moment as we have a quick look down at the AFL live set up there in Yarra Park. Still plenty of kids enjoying it kick to kick before the big game tomorrow. Lots of atmosphere down there, so make sure you do get down there. You can still get down there tonight. Having a look at the traffic wise, it's all looking pretty good on Hoddle Street. No problems on Punt Road. Just a reminder, leave your car at home and use public transport. I'll be back again after sport.
Well, the jury's out on Melbourne's first grand final eve public holiday after mixed reviews from politicians, the public and business people. The central city was declared a ghost town, but many welcomed the chance to enjoy time together on what's been a glorious spring day. Matt Gallant has more.
The city's shopping areas were deserted.
Well, now here's Brad looking ahead to tonight's sport.
And Brad, the Eagles had a closer look at the MCG this afternoon.
They did, Stephen. It was a closed session, but we were still able to sneak just a few pictures. That's coming up. Also ahead, Billy Hartung speaks of his grand final disappointment, and we'll hear from the captains and the coaches. Also, the Australian Test Tour of Bangladesh called off. and they were meant to be commentating on the baseball, but a group of selfie-obsessed college students proved to be more exciting and entertaining.
Thanks, Brad. Coming up after the break. A rail worker seriously injured after he was hit by a train.
And could one of the most common painkillers soon become prescription only? Welcome back, and to breaking news. New South Wales police are on the scene at a shooting in Sydney's west. It's believed multiple victims are involved. Emergency services were called to a location near New South Wales Police headquarters in Parramatta about 4:30. There were initial reports 2 people had been shot. Police will only confirm that an operation is underway. Coming up after the break. A whole lot of trouble on a quiet suburban street.
And the daring toddler who clearly has no fear of heights.
Join music maestro Jeff Harvey as he celebrates his 80th birthday. Monday on Studio 10, the Midday legend reveals some classic backstage tales you definitely haven't heard before. And lets loose on his TV rivals.
He's all right, bit of a dope, but there we are.
See what all the fuss is about? 8:30 Monday.
You're watching 10 Eyewitness News. ISIL's premier recruiter in our region has links to the alleged Anzac Day terror plot, a UK court has heard. It's claimed former...
Tensions in the Middle East have intensified, with Russia bombing targets in Syria in a second round of airstrikes. President Putin insists its aims are the same as Washington's, but the US claims the Kremlin isn't on the side of the West. Catalina Flores has more.
With more players entering Syrian airspace.
Local media, she then talked him back inside. Fearful she raised her voice, she would scare him and he would fall. Wow, now here's Mike with finals fever and all today's weather.
Yes, thank you, Candice, and a very good evening from the Footy Live side. And what a pearler for a public holiday. West Coast fans must be feeling right at home. 29 degrees and blue skies today. 150,000 enjoying that parade. Can't get much better than this. And yes, tomorrow still our warmest grand final in nearly 3 decades when it hits 30 degrees. So let's break it down. And after a mild 16 degree start, it should get up to 23 degrees by 9 o'clock. And then for your lunchtime barbecue, it won't just be the sausages sizzling when it hits 29 degrees at midday. And then for the first bounce at 2:30, there it is, 30 degrees, a ton of sun tomorrow, but also swirling northerly winds to 30 kilometres per hour. And then it's back to 26 degrees at 6 p.m. So this will be our only second grand final to reach 30 degrees or more. And then we have to go way back to 1944 when it almost hit 30 when it was 29.8, so a scrap off. I've got the forecast in full in half an hour's time with the Premiership Cup inside the mighty MCG. In the meantime, Stephen, the heat is on.
Thanks, Mike. Next, a rail worker seriously injured after he was hit by a train. And a controversial anti-abortion campaigners fight to stay in our country. You're watching 10 Eyewitness News. Controversial American pro-life activist Troy Newman remains in a detention centre tonight after losing a legal challenge to overturn the cancellation of his visa. He was due to appear at anti-abortion seminars across the country. Joe Hill joins us. Joe, what happens to Newman now?
Well, Stephen, it appears almost certain that Mr Newman will be deported from Australia. Immigration staff have been told to expedite his removal from the country.
It's grand final eve. Here's Brad with sport.
Thank you, Stephen. It's Hawthorn versus West Coast. We'll hear from a host of players, the captains and coaches, and watch the Eagles fine-tune preparations on the MCG. Also, Cricket Australia cancels the tour of Bangladesh. Michael Cheika delivers a warning to England. Commentators have some fun in the US. But the big story tonight is the grand final, from the parade to the Premiership Cup to the songs we know and love. Good evening. 1991 is about to be revisited without the Batmobile when Hawthorn and West Coast go head-to-head in the 2015 AFL Grand Final. Rob Waters joins us from inside the MCG. Rob, I think we all agree, enough talking, let's start playing.
Yes, g'day, Brad. Yeah, let's get on with it. It's the wizened old pros who know how to get it done, though, against the upstarts from the West. The Eagles are hoping to become the first side to finish outside the 8 and then the following year win the premiership, since Adelaide did it in the 90s, back in 1997. While there's plenty of history at stake here for the Hawks, they're hoping to become only the 6th ever club to win 3 flags in a row. If they do it, they'll be the first ever to do it at Hawthorn, despite their storied history. And they'll be the first in the AFL since Brisbane did it back in 2001 to 2003. The Hawks have gone tall. The Eagles are hoping to back their run. Now, the teams came together at the end of the grand final parade at Yarra Park outside the MCG this afternoon, and then the captains and the coaches had the final say. There was no raining on today's parade, the beautiful weather only heightening the anticipation of a great grand final. And the AFL has released the panellists who are going to pick the Norm Smith medal. They are Peter Bell, Dermot Brereton, Peter Lawler from the Australian, Guy McKenna and Bomber Thompson. This one's going to be so tight. Hawks just for me, although I'm really not that confident, Brad.
All right, we'll wait and see. Terrific. Thanks to Rob at the G. Well, grand finals are full of hard luck stories, and this year it's Hawthorn youngster Billy Hartung. With his dream ripped away from him, the 20-year-old has every reason to be bitter. But as Jackie Reid discovered, he's anything but.
It's the most exciting week on the AFL calendar, but for Billy Hartung, it's also heartbreaking.
Candice, I can't work it out, but something looks different.
I think it looks wrong. I can't work out what it is, though.
Brown and gold.
Thank you, Brad. Back to Jimmy for another check of our traffic.
Thank you, Stephen. Just hovering over the mobile refinery here in Altona this evening in the Floorboards Online traffic chopper. An earlier spill, we've got emergency crews just hosing the scene down here now. It's not causing any problems to any traffic at all. It's well in the refinery itself. Millers Road is currently all open and everything's running delay-free. Have a great weekend, please. Don't drink and drive. See you Monday.
Thank you, Jimmy. Mike's back after the break with the weather details. And he'll have more on the all-important grand final day forecast.
Welcome back. Another beautiful Melbourne day today. Tomorrow will be the hottest grand final day since 1987. Just how hot? Here's Mike to tell us.
Yes, thank you, Stephen, and a very good evening. Well, firstly, here it is. It's the Premiership Cup to have and to hold. And the hot weather tomorrow, in fact, may favour the Eagles. I'm sorry. So around 30 degrees for a very, very warm day. In fact, 29 degrees by lunchtime and still the high 20s by the end of the game. OK, before we go too much further, I'll give this cup over to... No, I won't. I'll hold on to it. Let's have a look at some photos that have been sent to Mike's Picks at network10.com.au. And first up, it is Steve McLean. He's captured the Baldy Bridge at dusk perfectly. And from Kylie Jackson in Gippsland, beautiful colours at Sandy Beach with a solo boatie. I've lost my cup. I'm not sure who's going to inscribe there. Anyway, 10 degrees was the overnight low in Melbourne, so it was a pretty mild start today. And as we know now, 29 degrees the maximum. Very nice indeed. That was between 2:30 and 4:30, so it was warm for quite a while. Outside right now, 26 degrees. Feels like 26. The humidity at 25%. And the wind is a north-northwesterly blowing at just 12 kilometres per hour. It will get blowier down here tomorrow. OK, around Melbourne, if you thought it was warm at your place, it got to just 23 degrees on Phillip Island and also Frankston due to a sea breeze. OK, across our state, and it was up to 9 degrees above the October average, 31 degrees, in fact, in the northwest. It's going to be a warm one here, the mid-30s in the Mallee, around 30 for the rest of our state, the mid-teens in the mountains, dry, mainly sunny with just some patchy high-level cloud at times and moderate to fresh north-northwesterly winds. And there is, in fact, tomorrow a strong wind warning for the coast and our bays. Around the sporting capital of the nation, 31 from Laverton to Geelong. And on the bays, we got northerly winds at 15 to 20 knots. A reminder, daylight saving does kick in this weekend. Clocks go forward an hour Sunday morning. So here it is for Melbourne, the home of football. And after a beautiful night tonight, down to 16 degrees in the morning, 29 degrees by lunchtime, 30 for the first bounce at 2:30, not dropping back to 29 until the game is over. Now on to Sunday, dropping back to 26 degrees, still rather sunny and very warm. And then Monday it's back to 31 degrees, Tuesday 32, and then it's 18, 19, 80. That is the forecast. We've run out of time. Hawthorn by 20. Yeah. OK, Stephen.
Thank you, Mike, and that's 10 Eyewitness News for Grand Final Eve.
Family Feud's next.
May the best team win tomorrow as long as it's Hawthorn.
Oh, good night.